In every age, from the marble courts of Florence to the boardrooms of today, power has never been fair. It seduces the weak, rewards the cunning, and devours the naive. But there exists a rare breed of minds, the dangerous thinkers, who do not chase power. They manipulate it. I am Niccolo Machiavelli, and in this masterclass, I will show you how dangerous minds outsmart the power games that control the world, so that you may see through deception, rule without a crown, and command without shouting. Everywhere you look, at work, in politics, even in your relationships, people play invisible power games. They smile at you. While plotting your replacement, they flatter you, while building your fall. But here's the truth Machiavelli understood. Power doesn't destroy the weak, ignorance does. In this lesson, you will learn the 6 laws dangerous minds use to outsmart every manipulation, every rival, and every false alliance. In every kingdom, in every empire, in every modern institution, from the marble halls of Florence to the cold corridors of corporate power, one truth has never changed. The world doesn't run on truth, it runs on perception. The dangerous mind understands this law better than anyone. Power isn't about what is real, it's about what people believe is real. And when you control what they believe, you don't need to control their actions. They'll act in your favor willingly. Machiavelli once observed that men are so simple and so obedient to immediate needs that he who deceives will always find someone willing to be deceived. And this is where the game begins. A dangerous mind never fights openly for influence. He knows that the visible struggle is the mark of amateurs. The true strategist works behind the curtain, bending reality in such a way that others choose to move as he desires, all while thinking it was their own decision. Imagine a court where 2 advisors whisper into the ear of a prince. One argues louder, desperate to be heard. The other stands silent, his face calm, his eyes thoughtful. The prince turns toward the quiet one. Why? Because silence creates gravity. Perception turns absence into mystery, and mystery into power. The louder man fights for influence. The quieter man commands it. The world, even now, functions no differently. Those who shout their ambitions, who show their every move, become predictable, and therefore powerless. Those who know how to let others imagine their greatness need not prove anything. The illusion does the work. Controlling perception is an art, a dangerous art. It begins with mastering what you reveal. Never let people see the full truth of who you are or what you want. Give them fragments, just enough to shape their imagination, because once imagination takes hold, no amount of logic can replace it. People defend what they believe more fiercely than what they know. Watch how rulers rise not by merit but by image. A man may lack strength, yet if he appears decisive, others will follow him into battle. A man may lack virtue, yet if he projects piety, people will call him righteous. You see, perception is not just a mask, it is armor. It protects you from attack, and it deceives your enemies into lowering their guard. The dangerous mind does not waste energy controlling others. He controls the narrative. The story others tell about him becomes his most powerful weapon. He crafts it carefully, every gesture, every silence, every word measured like a sculptor shaping marble. When he fails, he hides it beneath composure, and others assume he is planning something greater. When he succeeds, he downplays it, allowing curiosity to grow around him like smoke. Because when people cannot read you, they begin to fear you, and that fear becomes your invisible throne. Even in the modern world, the lesson remains the same. The true puppeteer never pulls strings in plain sight. He influences perception. Through timing, through restraint, through selective visibility. He doesn't chase approval, he manufactures it. And in this way, without ever lifting a sword, without ever raising his voice, he bends the battlefield itself. While others fight to be seen, he rules from the shadows, unseen but obeyed. There is a certain beauty in restraint, a power that doesn't roar but whispers. A strength that hides behind a calm smile. The dangerous mind understands that domination isn't achieved by brute force. It's achieved through subtlety, through grace, through the illusion of gentleness that conceals a calculating mind capable of cruelty when necessary. The weak believe that to be respected, they must appear strong. The powerful know that true strength thrives beneath stillness. Like a blade hidden within silk, the dangerous mind disguises his intentions beneath charm, patience, and poise. He doesn't fight for attention. He draws it naturally. He doesn't show aggression. He channels it through elegance, because he knows once your ruthlessness becomes visible, the game begins to end. Machiavelli wrote that a prince must learn how not to be good and use that skill when necessity demands it. But what he did not say, at least not plainly, is that a wise prince also learns how to appear good until the moment comes to strike. Grace, therefore, is not weakness. It's camouflage. It's the fine silk that hides the iron beneath. Picture two men in a court. One is loud, proud, always eager to demonstrate his power. The other, quiet, composed, endlessly polite. When conflict erupts, the loud man is the first target, because everyone fears the wolf who shows his teeth. The quiet one is ignored, underestimated, but he watches, listens, and waits. And when the storm ends, it's his calmness that survives. He inherits what others destroyed through arrogance. That is the secret of dangerous minds. They kill without appearing to fight. Grace disarms suspicion. It invites trust. It makes enemies reveal themselves because they believe you incapable of cruelty. But beneath that stillness, the dangerous mind remains alert, studying tone, measuring loyalty, noting every hesitation. When he strikes, it is never impulsive. It is deliberate, one precise move after a long silence. You see, people are easily deceived by surface impressions. They assume that smiles mean safety and anger means danger. But the most perilous individuals in history, the ones who rewrote the fate of empires, rarely showed rage. They smiled as they planned. They laughed as they executed. Their enemies didn't see the knife until it was already between their ribs. A dangerous mind is an artist of demeanor. He knows that softness controls tension better than force. When you respond to hostility with calm, you unnerve the aggressor. They expect emotion, not stillness. They expect defense, not silence. And in that confusion, their confidence cracks. That's when your power silently grows. Grace also buys time. It lets you wait for the right moment without arousing suspicion. While others act from pride or fear, you move from strategy. Every gesture you make becomes deliberate. Every word a calculation. You don't speak to express. You speak to position. You don't flatter to please. You flatter to disarm. The dangerous mind never announces his hunger for power. He dines quietly, while others shout their ambitions across the room. He allows them to underestimate him, because underestimation is the finest disguise of all. When you appear harmless, people lower their guard. When they lower their guard, you gain control. Grace is your armor and your weapon. It's what allows you to walk through chaos untouched. It shields you from envy and suspicion. People admire your composure, not realizing it's the mask of calculation. And in their admiration, they surrender the very leverage they think they hold. Because the one who hides his claws behind grace never needs to raise his voice, never needs to prove his power. He becomes the calm at the center of every storm. The eye that sees all, moves little, and conquers silently. If you wish to rise among the powerful, you must first understand one thing. Power is not logical, it is psychological. It feeds not on reason, but on fear, insecurity, and pride. The dangerous mind studies these emotions as a hunter studies the patterns of his prey. He knows that the powerful are not gods. They are humans wrapped in armor made of vanity, and vanity always cracks under careful pressure. Machiavelli once observed that every ruler lives with one unspoken fear, the fear of losing control, the fear of losing what he built, or the illusion of authority he projects. This fear becomes the string that moves him. The dangerous mind doesn't fight those in power directly. He pulls that string with precision. He discovers what they crave, what they dread, and he turns that knowledge into quiet leverage. Most people make the fatal mistake of confronting power head-on. They challenge it, provoke it, or demand from it. and in doing so they are crushed. The dangerous mind does the opposite. He approaches with humility, curiosity, and an attentive silence that disarms the ego of those above him. While others speak to impress, he listens to understand. He reads tone, posture, hesitation. Every sigh, every pause becomes a window into the truth they are trying to hide. To outsmart power, you must learn to see its fears before it sees yours. You must observe not just the words spoken, but the motives beneath them. What keeps this person awake at night? What reputation do they guard? What secret do they conceal? Every powerful person builds their kingdom around one fragile belief, that they are untouchable. A dangerous mind learns where that belief begins to crumble. Once you understand their psychology, influence becomes effortless. You can feed their ego to keep them predictable, or challenge it subtly to make them respect you. You can play the role of an ally while quietly maneuvering their weaknesses into opportunities. The art lies not in resistance, but in manipulation. Not through lies, but through understanding. Because when you know what someone values most, you know exactly where they are most vulnerable. This is how empires have always been moved, not by armies, but by minds that understand the heartbeat of their rulers, the courtiers, the advisors, the confidants. They held no throne, no army, no title, yet they shaped history with words, glances, and silence. They mastered the study of power's psychology. They knew how to keep kings comfortable while steering them toward destruction. Even in the modern world, this law remains absolute. Every boss, every leader, every influencer operates on emotion disguised as logic. They seek validation, they crave loyalty, they fear irrelevance. The dangerous mind watches quietly, then offers them exactly what they desire, a mirror that flatters or a silence that unsettles. Either way, he gains control of their attention, and attention is the currency of power. To truly outsmart the powerful, you must never appear as a threat. You must appear as someone who understands them better than anyone else. People trust those who reflect their insecurities without judgment. Once that trust forms, you can guide their decisions without force. They will believe it was their idea all along. That is the highest level of manipulation. Invisible influence born from psychological insight. The dangerous mind studies not titles or ranks, but patterns of behavior. He learns when power feels anxious, when it feels bold, when it feels blind. He knows that a confident man can be persuaded through flattery, while a fearful one must be guided through reassurance. He bends every interaction toward his design, never through confrontation, but through comprehension. To study the psychology of the powerful is to see beyond the throne, to see the trembling hand behind the crown, the sleepless eyes behind the smile, the wounded ego beneath the gold. When you learn to read these signals, power no longer intimidates you. It becomes a map, a living pattern you can predict, manipulate, and eventually command. Loyalty is a beautiful word, but in the world of power, it's a lie people tell to feel safe. The dangerous mind knows that loyalty lasts only as long as it is convenient. When fear changes, when power shifts, loyalty vanishes like smoke. But dependency, that is something far stronger. Dependency binds people not by emotion, but by necessity. When others need you to survive, you never have to question their devotion. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. A ruler's true strength does not come from the affection of his subjects, but from their inability to act without him. Make them dependent, and they will guard your interests as if they were their own. The dangerous mind applies this principle to everything, in alliances, in workplaces, in friendships, even in silence. He doesn't seek to be liked, he seeks to be needed. Loyalty is fragile because it relies on feelings. Feelings change with time, with mood, with opportunity, but need is constant. When people depend on your knowledge, your skills, your judgment, or your approval, they cannot betray you without harming themselves. That is the invisible chain the dangerous mind forges. It is not built with threats or promises. It is built through relevance. He makes himself too useful to discard. To create dependency, you must first identify what others value most, what they cannot afford to lose. Some crave guidance, some crave access, some crave validation. Once you discover it, you offer it in measured doses. Never give anyone everything at once. Give them just enough to make them return for more. In that repetition, their reliance grows. You become a silent addiction, the comfort they can't replace, the insight they can't replicate. A dangerous mind never announces his importance. He allows others to realize it through absence. When he steps away, people feel the vacuum. When he withdraws his attention, they begin to stumble. It is in this void that dependency reveals itself. Those who once believed they were independent now scramble to regain your favor. That's when you know you have control. In politics, this principle builds empires. In personal relationships, it builds dominance. Those who can make others dependent control not only their actions but also their thoughts. They begin to anticipate your approval, to mirror your standards, to justify your silence. You no longer have to command. They start to obey instinctively. This is not manipulation in its crude form. It is psychological architecture. You are constructing a world where you are the foundation. The dangerous mind also understands balance. Make people too dependent, and they will resent you. Make them not dependent enough, and they will forget you. The art lies in keeping them uncertain, comfortable enough to stay, uneasy enough to obey. You become their necessity wrapped in friendship, their teacher disguised as an equal. Every interaction reinforces the unspoken truth. They cannot move forward without your hand guiding them. Loyalty may fade when the wind changes direction, but dependency anchors people to you even in the storm. It makes betrayal too costly. It transforms alliances into invisible cages where you are the key holder. That is why the dangerous mind invests not in promises or emotions, but in positioning. He does not inspire devotion. He engineers it through structure. You can see this pattern everywhere. In politics, leaders keep advisors uncertain of their place. In business, employers make employees believe they are nothing without the company. In relationships, manipulators offer comfort, but withdraw it at will. All are playing the same game. The Machiavellian game of need over affection. Dependency turns ordinary people into guardians of your interests. They defend you, not because they love you, but because they need you. They depend on your silence, your protection, your resources, or your influence, and every time they choose you over freedom, your power quietly deepens. A dangerous mind does not destroy an enemy immediately. He observes, he studies, he listens, because every enemy carries a gift, information, and the one who learns to extract it without revealing intent becomes untouchable. The world teaches you to stay away from those who hate you, but Machiavelli would tell you the opposite. Bring them close enough to watch their heartbeat. Keep your enemies where you can see their breath, hear their doubts, and feed their pride until they show you exactly where to strike. Your enemies' words, expressions, and emotions are maps to their weaknesses. A wise strategist does not seek revenge through rage. He seeks it through understanding. The dangerous mind knows that anger blinds, but curiosity sharpens. Instead of pushing your rivals away, invite them in, not as friends, but as study material. The closer they are, the clearer their patterns become. You will see how they react under pressure, who they confide in, what they fear losing most. And when the time comes, you will know how to dismantle them piece by piece, without ever being suspected. Most people waste their power in open conflict. They insult, they retaliate, they expose their intentions. But the dangerous mind smiles in the face of opposition. He pretends to forgive. He nods politely. He allows his enemy to believe they have won. Because victory is not about proving who's right. It's about making sure the enemy never sees the knife until it's already inside the wound. Machiavelli once said, "Men must either be treated kindly or destroyed, for they can avenge light injuries but not severe ones." The dangerous mind interprets this with precision. He inflicts no injury until he is certain it cannot be avenged. Until then, he watches, he learns their allies, their motives, their fears. He listens to their lies until they become predictable. He becomes patient, dangerously patient, because he knows time reveals all secrets. Keeping your enemies close does not mean trusting them. It means controlling their access. Let them think they are fooling you. Let them underestimate your intelligence. The more they believe they are safe, the more they expose themselves. They reveal their ambitions in whispers, their insecurities in laughter, their desperation in subtle glances. You collect it all, quietly, without reaction. Their truth becomes your weapon, and your calmness becomes their fear. The dangerous mind also understands that enemies are useful beyond their destruction. They define your image. They make your name echo through conflict. By appearing tolerant of those who oppose you, you gain the reputation of strength and composure. But within, you are calculating. Every smile you give them is an act of war disguised as grace. Every handshake is a rope tightening around their neck. Secrets are the purest form of dominance. They allow you to control outcomes without confrontation. When you know what others are hiding, you own their behavior. You can protect them, expose them, or simply let them live in fear of what you might do. That uncertainty gives you the power they will never admit you have. The dangerous mind does not destroy enemies because of hate. He studies them because they are teachers. Every enemy reveals what the world hides from you. The truth about loyalty, the cost of trust, and the anatomy of fear. To keep your enemies close is to keep your mind sharp. To keep their secrets closer is to make their silence work in your favor. Power, when displayed too openly, begins to die. The moment people see your full strength, they begin to calculate how to resist it. The dangerous mind understands this paradox, that the more visible your power becomes, the more fragile it grows. True power is not about what you reveal, it is about what you make others imagine. Mystery is the invisible weapon that makes even the weak appear untouchable. It keeps others guessing, doubting, and hesitating. And in hesitation, your control deepens. Machiavelli once observed that a ruler must learn to appear powerful without becoming predictable. A king who flaunts his might breeds fear for a time, but soon breeds conspiracy. The dangerous mind operates differently. He keeps his victories quiet, his ambitions disguised, and his influence hidden beneath ordinary gestures. When others believe you are less than you are, you gain the one advantage every manipulator seeks: invisibility. They cannot strike what they cannot define. Most people expose too much in their hunger to be admired. They speak of their plans, they announce their skills, they show every tool in their hand. And in doing so, they invite rivals to study them, copy them, and eventually surpass them. The dangerous mind withholds. He allows curiosity to grow like smoke around him. People whisper about his abilities, debate his motives, try to predict his next move, and that confusion itself becomes a shield. When they cannot read you, they cannot prepare for you. Never underestimate the power of subtlety. When you underplay your strength, others relax their guard. They speak more freely. They trust you more easily. They reveal the information you can later use against them. Power, when quiet, gathers intelligence. When loud, it gathers enemies. Every wise strategist in history has mastered the art of disguise. Caesar, Sun Tzu, Machiavelli himself. They all understood that restraint is the highest expression of control. The dangerous mind never corrects underestimation. If they think you are harmless, let them. If they believe you are losing, let them believe harder. It is in their overconfidence that their downfall begins. By the time they realize your strength, it's too late. You have already maneuvered the pieces, already shifted the power balance, already claimed the victory they never saw coming. When you display everything you can do, you leave no room for imagination. But when you reveal nothing, imagination becomes your ally. People fear what they do not understand. They fill the silence with their own anxieties, their own insecurities, their own assumptions. You become larger in their minds than you ever were in reality, and in that illusion, you find safety and control. Machiavelli would say, "Power thrives not in dominance, but in uncertainty." The ruler who can make others doubt what he's capable of never needs to prove himself. Every pause, every calm reaction, every half-truth becomes a calculated performance. The dangerous mind understands timing. When to show a spark and when to hide the flame. He never gives away the rhythm of his thoughts. When you hold back, when you let others underestimate you, you're not losing ground. You're gathering it. You're allowing their ego to blind them, their certainty to betray them. And while they move boldly into the open, you wait in the shadows with clarity, patience, and quiet precision, because real power does not need to be seen to be felt. Power is not chaos. It is architecture, designed, calculated, and constructed by minds that see what others ignore. The dangerous mind does not chase control. It creates it, not through noise, but through silence, not through dominance, but through design. Every great strategist, every Machiavellian thinker knows that survival in this world isn't about strength, it's about strategy. Those who try to conquer power by force become slaves to it. Those who learn to move through illusion, perception, and psychology become its masters. The world bows not to the loud, but to the unseen hand that directs it. And that hand belongs to the one who understands timing, patience, and mystery. The one who knows that ruthlessness is not cruelty, it is clarity. So remember this: the powerful rule by fear, but the dangerous mind rules by understanding. You don't need a throne to command, you need insight, because true power doesn't come from being obeyed, it comes from being unreadable. And in the game of power, those who cannot be predicted can never be defeated.